Okay, let's start this thing. Let's see if everything works. Seems to be so. Yeah, let's start with the tease. As always, Yasmin has been half an hour late because he was unable to make his Windows 11 work properly. Gee whiz, what a surprise! He was just apologizing, which he's not going to do now, of course. Today's
Inače nikad više, oprostite, se odišem.
English.
Oh, sorry, that's the wrong thing.
Okay. Today's topic
In
is
any case, so what do you have on your PhD mind today?
Please stop with the PhD. You're getting very boring.
No, but the thing is that what I have noticed, and this is the teaser for the start, is that since you actually defended your thesis and became a PhD, you have an immense amount of things that you want to think about and so much time to do it.
No, I don't. Reversal of the
So
truth.
everything is happening all at once.
Yes, sure. Parallel movements. Okay, today we are talking about something that I noticed lately, and I actually noticed it in kind of like being at the back of my mind as well, which is what usually people refer to as slow tech movement. Basically, why people are choosing to downgrade their, let's say, digital life back to some of the basics. Why they're doing that, what's the result, what's the thought process behind it, and stuff like that. But yeah, let's roll the intro and let's start chatting. Okay, so which annoying device do you have close by? Because I'm sure you have some.
No, I just want to point one thing that we need to actually make people aware of. This is our one of the rarest episodes that contains actual sun.
Okay,
So
true.
both you and me are right now is using sun as a source of lighting, which means that we're recording in the morning, which means that I'm not completely awake because I have been awake for the last 4 hours or so. And the reason why I'm late is because I had to do basically a reboot of everything that is around me. And right now it's me who hates the technology. To put it mildly, Windows 11 Bluetooth had to be uninstalled and then reinstalled. Atom that we are using had to be rebooted. Headphones had to be rebooted and repaired. And I had to reinitialize basically my monitor. Don't ask, because it refused to turn on until it was reset. So all the pieces of technology that involved the streaming basically failed to work from the first.
It's really weird how that only happens to you and never to me.
I think that this could be because of two different reasons. One, because you never turn anything off. And B, because you are much more prepared for the eventualities than me, because you hold daily courses and daily online Zoom calls, and I have switched to weekly. So right now, I think that my game is simply not up to your game.
Maybe not. But I do turn off all of the things related to streaming. By the way, I started doing that last year. ATEMs are only on when we record. So, yeah, but I think that the reasoning is something else. Actually, might be a nice lead into the topic that we are talking about. Because on the grander scheme of things, I've been actually considering and doing it partially. Switching back to some of the older operating systems because some of the latest, let's say, perks of some of the Windows desktop systems have really started to annoy me. Like, annoy the crap out of me, actually. And you could kind of consider your situation with at the start of the stream a part of that story as well. So recently, when was it? It wasn't actually very recently, but some in September, I had a situation with my Dell laptop. I left it in the college because I needed to download some VMware virtual machines prior to doing some kind of a migration for my colleagues at the university. and when I came back to it the next morning, it was blue screened. It wasn't because of anything that's normal. It's just that Windows 10 decided to stop working, which was the first time, to be honest. And they didn't want to reboot or anything. Then it was the whole hoopla with BitLocker key. Luckily, I had it stored in Azure for some reason, and I was able to extract the data. Although I had 99% of the data on my Synology, so that was good. Then, because I was forced to do some things very quickly, and the only available image was Windows 11, I deployed Windows 11 on that laptop. Instantly regretted doing so, of course. My desktop has been Windows 10 for past, I don't know, 4 years or so, perhaps. I refused to switch to Windows 11. Then last month, I redeployed the Dell with Windows 10. Have been much happier with it ever since. I've been actually considering going back to Windows 8.1 on that one for a variety of different reasons related to Windows 10 and latest, horror stories about the updates that were doing all sorts of weird things to a lot of people around the world. So, yeah, it's been a quite let's say eventful past 6 months or so for me on desktop. And don't even get me started on the mobile side, because we're going to get there as well.
I think that what annoys me the most is that simply sometime in the past, and I mean by in the past I mean the last couple of years, I basically got the case of upgrade depression. And I'm just simply taking it completely stoically. It happens, I don't care, I cannot do anything about it, so I need to upgrade. And I think that I think that Windows 11 actually broke my mind. Because Windows 11 is an operating system that continually amazes me. Sometimes they are much better, some things, than all the other operating systems Microsoft ever released. That's 10% of the time. 90% of the time, they are completely annoying mess of spaghetti code that basically doesn't work. Specifically, like today, because there was no specific reason for the Bluetooth stack to completely break, and but it broke. And the thing is that for some reason or the other, what happened to me and what is happening to me in the last couple of years, basically, is that I'm thinking about switching to Linux, not because I want to, but because I think that at least with Linux I know what I'm up against. With Windows 11, the enemy is basically always chasing away and changing skins and pretending not to be there. And with Linux, you know what you're dealing with. So I don't know. The downgrade or the downgrade path is probably not something that I would go with my primary computer. So I think that I'm going to do. I'm going to just switch my desktop and create an additional desktop that is going to be either Linux based or, and I'm going to say this slowly, maybe a Mac based desktop. But I think that I'm not that far into the Apple world that I'm ready to switch to using the Apple desktop for full time. It's not that I don't like it, it's that I don't feel it. I'm not vibing with it. So it is not the thing that I want to do. Also, as a funny story to tell, we just lost an audio for the last couple of seconds. And Vedran is going to have to fix this. But you know what the reason for lost audio is?
Please do tell.
The cats ran over the atom.
Okay, let's add that to the list of random yet acceptable reasons.
Yes, so the cats. Now a funny story that is completely unrelated to everything here, but at the same time is related. Do you know why I switch off the items during the night?
Please do tell.
Because otherwise the cats sleep on them because they are warm.
Of course, because they are always looking for a place where they are warm.
Yes, so in order to keep my items running, I need to keep the cats off them. and the only way to do it is to keep to switch them off so the cats don't want to sleep on them. Anyways, the thing is that running the old technology maybe actually be the thing that makes sense, because the Apple side of me is running the first generation of iPad Pro, still working magnificently on the iOS 16. I have a completely running iPhone 11, which basically is completely fine. Everything works. It doesn't have any problems. And I don't see the reason to switch over to the newest version. My only reason was because A, I could do it on the cheap, and B, because the camera was better on the newer iPhone. But on the Apple side, there is no reason to switch to the newer technology. And I must say that this is surprising for me, because it seems that what Apple is doing right now, and this is not me dissing on Apple, it seems that they have absolutely zero idea what to do with the artificial intelligence hoopla.
Yep.
And what they're doing right now is they're basically waiting to see what is going to happen, because they see no sane way of integrating AI into the mobile phones. And it's not that I'm defending them, but I think this is the smart way to go. Because there is no reasonable way of integrating AI or pushing it forcefully into a new, because this is new technology, into everything that is around us.
Okay.
As a funny thing, somebody was discussing creating an AI version of Vim.
Yeah, sure. That sounds reasonable. It's not complex enough.
No, but okay, but what we need to do is Emacs AI.
Yes, agreed. Okay. Can I go in the completely opposite direction of what I usually do? Can I try to sell you the idea of using Mac? I know this is going to be weird for you.
No, I'm already sold on it. I think that the Macs are going to become single usage devices for streaming.
Not only that, but let me get into this for a second. It's going to be brief. First and foremost, I know for a fact that you have at least 2 iMacs.
Okay.
You have your own one, and I recently re-gifted one to you, which should be somewhere.
Okay, from where I'm standing, I can see at least 3. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, and there's one in the office as well. I know that as well.
Yes.
Okay, so I know that those machines do work, okay, because when you're at home, you're probably going to want some kind of a desktop. You're not going to want to work with a laptop. That's my first key point, most probably. The second point that's connected to the first one directly is the fact that even if you were to use a laptop, which for this purpose would be unpleasant, I know I tried many times over, have quite a lot of experiences with it. You don't want to go that way. It would be kind of an expensive, I don't know, some kind of a experience slash experiment in futility, if you ask me. So desktop it is. I know you have a Mac Mini. That one will not be good enough because of the fact that it doesn't have enough screen connectivity for you. So you will not be able to connect all of the screens that you have. Although you switched to 2 large ones, correct?
Yes, and it works.
Yeah, okay, then that works. Yeah, that works.
Screens.
But you used to have many more. So we were close in our setups. I have 5. Connecting that to a Mac is quite a challenge.
Now I am using 3, but the third one is being used interchangeably between the ATEM as a actual preview device, directly as a monitor, or as a monitor for my desktop.
Okay, let me continue. So the third thing, which is super important, I use Macs on a not necessarily daily, let's say 2 daily basis, to do stuff related to multimedia, and for that purpose, as we all know, they usually work perfect. So I do a lot of music production. I do a little bit of editing of our videos on it, but rarely so, not as much. Primary reason for that is not because I don't want to switch to it, because I would use the same application, so it would be exactly the same. The reason for that is complete unavailability of M4 Pro based Mac Minis, which is a story that needs to be told maybe in another episode. They are impossible to get in Croatia. Or you can order them and then wait for something like 40 working days for them, which I don't want to do. and that's really not the way in which this should work. Months and months after the announcement. Although the Mac Mini M4 Pro would fit both of our use cases perfectly, and even for me, it would be a perfect machine for video editing because it would be much faster than what I have here. Although I have two NVIDIA graphic cards in 3900K and whatnot, the speed of that thing, especially in that type of a small enclosure, is incredible. It would speed me up by at least 2 or 3 times, which would also benefit you in certain use cases. But the main reason why I mentioned that I want to sell you a Mac is because I've been using it with all of the applications that both of us have in common. You know, the browsers of the world, the multimedia applications, watching videos, the Microsoft Office thingies and whatnot. Most of the things, even if you refuse to deploy Office on Mac, you could use it in a web browser, which works really well in Office 365 as well. So there are like many reasons why you could do it on a purely description side, but there's one that's very important for me to sell you on the side of, let's say, human experience, which would be that it actually works.
Okay, now I'm going to do complete the opposite of you and ask you, why are you trying to upgrade me into the operating system that I honestly feel nothing about in the episode that is talking about downgrading?
Yeah, I know. It's well, that's what we do. Tangents. Reason is
No, I'm not against you. I'm looking at the prices for the Mac Minis in the UK, and I see that since I'm planning a small trip to the UK in the next couple of months, it could be that I may be visiting the Apple Store there, because the cheapest Mac Mini, which is completely fine by anybody's standards,
Yep.
is $599 there. So it makes sense. But the thing is that I don't want another computer right now. I would like, and this is what we already discussed about, I want to integrate all the computers that I have into one coherent set.
which is never going to happen, okay, and
Yes, or I want to switch to a computer that is going to be comfortable to use. Right now, I feel quite okay while using Windows the way they are right now, aside from them breaking themselves from
constantly,
time to time.
yeah.
Yes, the Linux is not that comfortable to use for me. I don't know why, and I'm trying to work on that. I'm seeing a therapist.
IT therapist.
Yes, I'm seeing a therapist, and I'm talking about the guys why the Linux is. We have a support group for Linux, and we are talking about why the
Linux
Linux
Anonymous.
should be. Yes, Linux is Anonymous, because we need to make sure that what we need from the desktop is there when we need it. And I think that the worst kind of dependency that we are having right now is that each one of us, including you, have a single or maybe a couple of applications that are specific to Windows.
Yep.
And I think that I'm going to, when I find the time, I'm going to try to duplicate my current setup, Windows setup on Linux, to see what is missing there. Because from the most basic of the things, I'm mostly using my as well as you. I'm mostly using my web browser. So my web browser is going to be, I'm currently using Opera. And the reason why I'm using Opera is because it's not that, it doesn't have that market share. And they are still actively trying to make it better.
Okay.
Unlike some other Robin Hoods, which decided to completely give up on their browser, or aside from Edge, which I'm not going to touch with a long pole, even if it actually works.
Okay.
So the thing is that I want to do the let's call it side grade. It's not an upgrade. It's a side grade. I want to move laterally across my operating system landscape.
Oh, that would be a set of very interesting episodes. We could do step-by-step history side grade.
No, and I'm right now admiring the way I said a lateral movement across operating system landscape.
Yes, please feel
This
free
is
to
the
admire yourself. That's so you.
Yes, this is one of those corporate drone sentences that people shouldn't be saying at all.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go in the other direction because we've kind of went completely sideways while we're on the topic of
Yes,
sideways.
okay.
My reason for calling this topic for an episode 2 minutes before we started recording was, let's say, related to some of the recent experiences that I had, and a couple of conversations that I had with some of my friends, related to the fact that a lot of people are getting tired of, let's say, this thing constantly, bzz, 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 or beep beep, and whatever noises they make. A lot of them just want a little bit more, let's say, peace and quiet. I know that there are ways to make sure that that happens even by using the same devices. Yes, God knows you're good at that with your radio silences for no apparent reason whatsoever.
I wanted
But
to talk to you about this. You know what the reason for my radio silences is?
please do tell.
I turned on something called digital well-being,
Yeah.
and it actually forces me to stop constantly looking at the all the different messages, and specifically stops me from using the news constantly. Because what I noticed is that I usually waste around hour and a half doom scrolling to the news, which actually doesn't make any sense. What I actually did is I switched from reading the news to reading RSS feeds.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and the rationale behind this is probably something that you could relate to. When you take a look at RSS feeds, you can actually see when the news are being uploaded.
Mm-hmm.
So you see the refresh rate that they're using, so you don't waste time rereading the same news all over again, because you see in the last 10 minutes, in the last 1 hour, whatever, 3 articles appeared. You can just scroll through them, and then there is nothing else to see. You know that there is nothing else to see. Instead, using the actual site to go to see the articles wastes a lot more time. So I'm trying to disconnect in some way or the other, because I have a huge problem, and I noticed this in the last couple of weeks. I have a huge problem concentrating, and this actually stops me from actual work.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to change something, and this may be connected to the way I'm using, or I was using the mobile phone. So I'm leaving it behind a lot.
I'm
I'm not switching to inferior platform. I'm just leaving it somewhere
okay.
inside my house.
There are a couple of side effects of that are very annoying.
Yes, I know. And this is a problem, because if you try to do it, you're also going to become annoying to people around you.
Yeah.
Because
But
this is what people are expecting, and I don't know how to fix this.
yeah. But my point is this: it's great that you're trying to use digital well-being. That I commend. But I don't know how much settings it has and whatnot, because you were at times during the day completely unattainable, either by phone, directly phone call, either by WhatsApp, which we usually use for quick messages and whatnot. And actually, it was the platform that you suggested for that. I used to use Viber much more. So at times I send you a message, you don't reply for God knows how much, and I'm not talking about minutes. And today, actually, I called you in the morning, and your digital well-being told me that you are unable to get to the phone. You know,
This
those
is
are
not the digital way of well-being. This is unfortunately my telecom operator. We need to work on that.
yeah. I mean, it keeps on happening constantly, and I usually try not to call you unless it's something that's important. We chit chat in the evening if we have to chit chat about something. Whoever calls whoever. And usually when it's morning and it's a working day, I usually call you for a reason. I've noticed lately it's not me trying to say that you are something or to scold you. It's just a general, description of what happens as a side effect of that, partially at least, is that you are not attainable, and that's something that is annoying because it shouldn't be that way during the working day at least.
Yes, okay, I'm fine with this, but on the other hand, this is what precisely the talk that we need to have about downgrading and using the old technology.
Exactly.
Because what does it mean to become attainable? The thing is that I have seen a shift in how technology is being used, not in direct communication to people, but I have seen a shift into how technology is being used when it relates to different service providers. Because I don't know if you noticed the thing that has been happening specifically in the last 4 or 5 years, and that is that the providers that are providing the data, not the data, the voice services, their coverage, the network coverage, has become worse and worse. So it has become worse. The reason why they are doing it is because they are seeing that the numbers of actual voice calls are falling. Nobody is calling anybody else anymore because people have switched over to instant messaging. Now, an actual example. You tried to reach me today. I didn't see a missed call. I don't have missed calls. I have no notification that you called me because this was a network error. This happens a lot in this specific part of the house where I'm at right now. And this is a problem because if I decide to not use the messaging, and if I say, okay, they will call me if it's important, but at the same time, if the operator decides that it is not that important that we need to keep the network alive, this means that you and me switching from new technology being messaging to old technology being actual calls means that we are not going to be able to reach each other. And this is one of those things which actually makes me angry. Does this mean that we're going to switch to SMSs?
No, that means that we are going to switch to walkie-talkies.
Okay, this is going to pose another set of problems, but I'm completely fine with it.
Okay, so basically your reasoning that you just mentioned is related to improved focus and productivity. Which
Just a second, one note of warning, as we are talking, I see a guy hanging from the pole and doing something on the internet connection that I'm using. So if I just simply disappear, it is because of a guy upgrading something.
Oh, but well, you have multiple internet connections. You should fail over.
No, they're on the same telephone pole.
Ah, single point of failure.
Yes.
Anyway,
No, I think that this guy is a single point of failure, but it could prove to be his problem, not mine.
I hope that it's not going to be a failure. Okay.
It may be if my internet fails, it is going to be because the guy has fallen. But
Yeah.
anyway.
Anyway, let me continue down that path. So let's say that you've gotten, you are kind of like making an experiment, or let's say experimenting on yourself by trying to be a little bit more disconnected, which is fine, and we talked about this in a few episodes ago. Let's say that it brings you a little bit more quiet time from everybody around you, all the noise and whatnot. I'm not talking about necessarily the family. I'm talking about everybody else, which is also completely fine. But usually what you're trying to look for when you do these things is some kind of an improvement, maybe in mental health, maybe some kind of an improvement in terms of sleep quality and whatnot, because the buzz that happens because of this buzz is usually related to that. I'm sorry to say, but your sleep has gotten worse lately.
Yes, and this is the other thing that I have noticed. I have zero since this has been turned. This episode has turned into let's do a quick brief on mental health being on Yasmin.
No.
I have seen that
It's not being turned at all. I'm just using you as a guinea pig because I'm next.
No, but as I said, I noticed that from your perspective, you have become annoyingly successful in concentrating because you have been constantly concentrated on work for the last 2 years, and right now you don't know you don't know what to use your focus on. So you have gone to the completely different way. So you optimize yourself.
ADHD to the max, you mean?
No. You are ADHD to the mean. Right now you're moving because you're moving your chair completely unconsciously. Because yes, that is the thing as I was mentioning. The thing is that you actually have a sharp focus right now, because I think that you are right now, and sorry for saying this, at your peak performance.
You are nowhere near of being right.
No, okay, but you are now, you are, by now, I mean in the last, let's do an average of last 2 months, you are at your peak performance.
Okay.
So it is all going to go down from this time. And I think that right now you need the focus, and at the same time, around us, a lot of things are happening. And I think that we need to make a distinction. Trying to downgrade technologically could be from a couple of different reasons. We were started talking about downgrading because the new technology does not work. Then we switched over to talking about how new technology actually hurts us. Now we are talking about why downgrading is a problem, because we need to be able to actually do the things that we want to do. So these are three different things.
Yes, that's called being covering the topic from multiple different angles.
Yes, but I want to make sure that we understand which angle are right now covering right now.
We can go to another angle because it's fun.
No, I think that what should be done and what is actually missing is that we should be going for Linux on mobile phones.
Okay, describe.
I want to have complete control over how my operating system in my mobile phone works, because I want to be able to actually disconnect. So I want to be assured that my mobile phone actually works, and when I'm disconnected, I'm disconnected on purpose, and I did the disconnection. I want to make sure that my mobile phone connection actually works. So, for example, if you call me, and if you are unable to reach me via regular phone line, I want to see the notification that you were unable to reach me. And this is one of those things that is actually lacking right now.
Well, there might be something else that we can add to the retro table of this discussion. I think that when we were back in the days of these devices,
I'll come prepared, okay?
yes, these problems did not exist squared.
But I think this is the thing that I mentioned back way then when Blackberries were alive. The operators were primarily concentrating on making phone calls work. So you could depend that the phone call is going to get through, and then the mail you could ignore if you wanted to, because the mail is by definition asynchronous. And the other thing is that however we put it, you are going to get the phone call if you need to. Right now, the phone calls are not that reliable, and I have noticed this because I'm using multiple networks. Unfortunately, the thing is that what I noticed also is that those multiple networks are using exactly the same base stations, so I need to switch to another provider. But the thing is that however you make it, the thing is that we have made the network more unreliable, and then we decided that we don't want to use the tools that everybody else is using. So this is going to put us in a problem.
It already has.
Yes, and I think that maybe the solution is going back to the email.
Okay, elaborate.
And then saying, okay.
Just for context reasons, if I can say this, because it's funny to me. I'm not saying this again to scold you, but you are by far the worst emailer that I know.
And proud of it.
Yes.
Just let me just quickly check. I need to do a quick check on my Gmail. Just a second.
Is there a cat constantly running across your apartment right now or your room? Because at times I'm seeing the feathers of the cat in front of your camera running. Believe it or not.
I have 3 cats, so yes.
It's possible. Okay. I was thinking that
one is sleeping. One is sleeping because the heater is on. So the one is sleeping on the radiator. 1 and 2 are running basically. No, one is sleeping behind me. So the third one is running around probably.
Okay.
So let me just quickly go through my email numbers. Okay, let me just paste this thing into your chat because I want your honest opinion on this. Just a quick second. Where is the chat? I need the chat window. Where is the chat window?
Paste in WhatsApp.
Good idea. Better idea. Okay, you are not going to believe this. You are actually not going to believe this.
WhatsApp doesn't work?
WhatsApp doesn't work.
Yes.
WhatsApp doesn't work. Yes, the WhatsApp refused to work. Just a second. No.
Switch to Viber.
This is good. No, this is getting completely out of hand. Okay.
Okay.
So these are the numbers for my emails.
Oh, I am so proudly going to put this in the episode.
No, the thing is that what actually annoys me is that for some reason Gmail stopped adding all the numbers together.
Okay.
So I just jumped from having 250,000 unanswered emails to just 10,000 because they're just counting the regular emails.
Okay.
But to be completely honest, when it comes to mails that are important, that come to Gmail, they are completely fine. I have seen that my work email has become overburdened with completely unrelated mails, completely unrelated to anything that actually makes sense. And I'm pointing the finger not at you, but at the different publishers of different papers, because they are creating such an amount of spam, trying to get through to getting more money from us, that it is basically annoying. But we could do the publishing spam episode separately, because this needs to be covered. It needs to be said that when you publish in a paper that is even remotely interesting to anybody, you're going to get probably 100 messages to get to be a reviewer or to publish somewhere else in a Q6 journal.
Q6.
Yes, but the journal that is basically there just to get some money from you, and you're not going to get your article anywhere. So, anyways, the thing is that disconnecting is complicated. Using different technologies is complicated, and it doesn't help that we are completely overrun by technology and by ways of communicating. I don't know what you propose, but I have no idea how to actually make all of these things work.
I don't know. I tried with a few people last year to do SMSs, but no, it just doesn't work.
I think the first thing that should be done, and we could be doing, is switching to a single platform for communication. So just make a conscious effort to switch everything to, for example, WhatsApp or messaging or whatever, and then stick to actually using it for both the voice calls and for the messages.
Okay.
Because this would help with having all the messages spread around. I don't know how many different communication platforms you have, but right now I have SMS, WhatsApp, Discord, Viber, FaceTime, Telegram, Slack, and Signal.
Yeah, I know.
And this is a problem because whenever I see a message, I need to check, and usually it's nothing important. So it also a little bit annoys me. I would like to have all my messages in one screen. And if I may add this was what BlackBerry was extremely good at. You had all your communication channels on one screen, you could answer, and it wasn't bothering you. All the messages applications that we have right now are completely inconsistent in the way they're talking to you. Some of them are annoying, like, for example, Telegram. Some of them are completely unassuming, like WhatsApp. Do you know that WhatsApp doesn't have a dedicated application for the watch? So you cannot get direct messages directly. You need to have some sort of... so basically you can get the notification, but you cannot see what the whole message is depending on your configuration.
Cool.
But at the same time, this is one of the biggest applications that are used by people for communicating.
Still cool. Why would I
So
want?
I don't know.
Why would
I don't know
Why would
what
I
are
want a messenger to pop up messages on my smartwatch? Even more annoying. So that's two places at the same time. Just asking.
because if I leave my phone behind and if I don't receive if I receive a message, this makes me aware that something is happening, but I don't have the direct impulse to just answer it.
Okay.
So I can see if it's important and I can just quickly go through it and say, okay, I can get to this later.
Okay.
So what's your proposition for solving this?
I was actually half joking about the about using walkie-talkies because we did a couple of months ago we did an episode about retro tech that's not being used and it should for emergency services and whatnot when there was that terrible humanitarian situation in the US with floods and whatnot. SMS don't work for me. Phone calls are getting bad, worse and worse at the end of the day. Maybe partly because of the fact that everybody switched to basically doing VoIP, even on mobile technology. Viber and WhatsApp and whatever, Discord and whatnot are, intermittently unavailable. To be kind to them, I could express it in a different way. We cannot do all types of communications via our social networks, and you don't tend to use them as well. You're very rarely on Facebook or LinkedIn. I know that. Teams and whatnot, these sorts of applications, we definitely want to stay away from them when we are not doing our job because we tend to use them every single time for every single lecture. So that gets kind of like tiring as well. Fixed phones definitely not going to work for us. I don't know. For me, actually, and that hence the reason why I kind of went in the direction of this episode. In terms of the price/performance/time spent or wasted, however you want to calculate it, in terms of doing the actual work and having some kind of a, let's say, balance between the stuff that I need to do for work and stuff that I needed to do for private things, I was probably at my best when I was using this, and specifically
Yes.
this one. I do have a couple of older ones. This is much older, and I started using Blackberries more on a whim than anything else. I started with that first Vodafone Mobile Connect card, which was for me a saver for certain situations when I needed to VPN somewhere quickly, which was okay at the time, 20 years ago. But my first foray into this kind of like business-like communication was with BlackBerry, which I bought on a whim and tried out. Within a week, I was like, "This is awesome," and this comes from a person who had a long lineage of using all of the Nokia communicators, as you know. And my first phone was the slider Zippo one from Matrix or something like that. I switched to communicators afterwards, and I was very happy with those phones. I actually wrote my grad thesis on this phone, like 90% of it, when I was doing military service, when I was at fifth year of college. So that device really, really worked for me well. It has fantastic keyboard, had incredible battery, just like most of the Nokias and whatever. BlackBerry for me was a key switch because it still had the keyboard, which meant that I could do reliable typing, which nowadays you cannot do on touchscreen even if you tried. Battery was good. It was unlimited in terms of data sent for emails, which wasn't the case at the time. Everything was, data plans and whatnot. And
And the roaming was
very,
approachable.
very cheap, very, very cheap roaming, which I really appreciated as I tended to travel a lot. It had the capability to do something akin to GPS at that time when I was using it as well. I was running Garmin XT on this one and a couple of other Nokias that I had. I was happy with that as a GPS solution. So those devices were purposefully made. I'm not saying that I am a standard person that they designed it for, but a lot of business people I noticed, even in our small country, small neck of the woods, a lot of people were using these because they were exactly as I said. They're very user friendly. reliable, long-lasting battery, good data plans. You could easily answer an email. They even had some cool games, Sudoku, whatnot. Topic for another episode, perhaps. And generally speaking, they were very good for the stuff that you and I do. So
But the thing
if
that
I could
it is a
if I could
yes.
resurrect BlackBerry, I would do it in an instance, and I would recreate something like this in a modern form with the keyboard. Screw the touchscreen keyboard, so I'm not a fan of that. And I would be very, very business and private happy with that.
The thing is that okay, the first thing that I need to say is that and I probably sent it to everybody, that the patent for the keyboard just expired
Yeah, we talked about it a few days ago.
a few days ago. Yes, and the thing is that what I want to say is right now, if I were able to buy a phone with the keyboard, I would do it immediately.
Hmm.
But what is stopping me, because there are phones with keyboards, is that almost all of them are, I would say, flimsy attempt of attaching a keyboard to a phone that is underperforming.
Okay.
So they don't have a flagship or something that could be called a flagship that at the same time has a keyboard.
Okay.
And this is what's bothering me, because sometimes I actually want to use other applications.
Hmm.
For example, I want to use maps, I want to use music, I want to be able to actually run music and maps at the same time while doing something else. So I want to have a phone that has a nice screen. I want to have a phone with enough memory to execute everything that I need. And also I would like to have a keyboard. And I don't understand why everybody is avoiding doing this. Yes, you probably know about, you just mentioned it in the chat, the Titan Pocket. I have seen this phone, but it is not nearly as powerful as the rest of the competition.
Okay. Tiny screen
And
as well
also
and
it's,
whatnot.
yes, and the thing is that for some reason or the other, I am not prepared to downgrade when it comes to operating system,
Okay.
because I got used to operating systems that work.
Okay.
Apple is better than Android in that actual department, because what they do is they are curating their operating system in such a way that you are unable to run basically crappy applications when you're doing something or using the operating system. But the thing is that what I want to have,
Hmm.
and what I would do, is probably have a phone that would be email primarily, because this would actually make me happy when writing the emails, and I would probably then switch to text-only communication. Because the irony of all of this is that we had a dedicated texting phone called the BlackBerry.
Hmm.
Then we moved on to phones that are, I would say, worse than BlackBerry when it comes to texting. And then we decided that the texting is going to be the only way to communicate.
Okay.
And this is bothering me. These phones that we are using right now are much better at communicating by voice than by using texts.
Yes.
Because writing on the screen is inferior.
Agreed.
So we basically switched the technologies in such a way that we made the better technology worse by creating phones that are worse when it comes to texting. And then we decided we are going to use the better technology.
Yeah, we did that for hipster reasons.
Yes, and I don't care about what the reasons are. I just would like to have a phone, because you know that both you and me would completely switch over to email if we had Blackberries again.
Yeah.
I know that I would completely ditch the calls and trying to call people.
Hmm.
I like to do that from time to time, but from time to time, I want to be able to send the emails, and I want to be able to send those emails on a phone that is, what is BlackBerry's running time? 4 days, 5 days, 6 days?
Yeah, I used to spend a week with 2 charges.
Yes, and the other thing was that what people actually forget is that the screen on BlackBerry was actually superior to most of the screens that we have today. It wasn't touchscreen, but it was superior because you could use it outside in the full sun and you could actually read something. It was much closer to the e-ink screens that we're using today.
Okay. That's also.
So,
Yeah.
so the thing that I want to go back to is I simply want to have a better device and to see what is available.
Okay. I sent another one to your Discord, to your WhatsApp chat. I like this one a lot, although it's a little bit bulky. Astro Slide 5G. That's an Android phone, from what I can tell. Complete normal Android phone, and it has everything that you and I described. Maybe we should give it a try, although it's expensive. Maybe we could find a way to get it somehow. Let's see. Yeah, because the Titan Pocket is too small. Basically, that's not the way to do it. But yeah, I would be
So
perfect.
this is basically a fully fledged phone with a fully fledged, although a little bit smaller, QWERTY keyboard attached.
Yeah, very reminiscent of, for example, Nokia E90, in a sense. It's just a little bit smaller.
Yes. I could probably will live with this.
Yeah.
I could probably live with this, but the thing I'm thinking about right now is that this is the okay. This is not low end, but this is a medium level Android phone
Okay.
that runs under Android. And my biggest gripe when it comes to all these phones is that they don't get updated.
Mm-hmm.
They're almost always they're just completely abandoned by their creators.
What you get out of the
And
box is what you get.
yes, what you get is what you get, and then suddenly applications stop working.
Mm-hmm.
But you got me thinking about something else. I need to research that. Maybe the solution is to grab actual phone case with an included keyboard for the iPhone. I wouldn't be surprised that there's something like this exists.
So yes, it does. I've actually checked something very similar to that maybe 10 minutes ago. But here's my gripe with that. It's never as integrated as you would like. There are always going to be power issues depending on how the battery is applied or how the battery is integrated into the keyboard. It's going to make the iPhone much more bulky, which you will not like, for sure. The typing experience on these external keyboards usually is not all that good. And it's a weird idea to have a touchscreen phone with something like this as a let's say a solution on a standard platform like iOS or Android. I don't know. I wouldn't like to go that way, but I'm willing to try as well. You never know.
No, I'm not even willing to try. This is what I found, and I'm not even willing to try. This is so completely wrong that I have no words for it.
Clicks for iPhone for everybody wondering. You should really check this out. It's beyond sucks. Status.
No, this is when you think about expanding your phone and you decide to do it in a completely different axis.
Yeah.
And the wrong axis to add
to add insult to injury, to offer something that's in yellow color, that's something of an
okay, you can get, okay, to be honest, you can get something that is London whatever.
Yeah, sky.
London grey.
Yeah.
London grey, London sky. But the thing is that I'm fine with having a keyboard, okay. But, okay, come on, people, let's make this less usable. Let's make this so bulky that I cannot use it because my phone is going to be so long that it won't fit anywhere. Mm-hmm. This is a backpack accessory, not a phone accessory.
Yeah, exactly my point.
But anyway, the thing is that I'm missing some of those things. So, does this make the whole upgrade thing something that we should be thinking about in a way that what we are actually lacking is the proper technology?
Agreed. I recently upgraded to the latest Samsung Ultra. It's been working well for me, but still it's an annoying experience of typing, retyping, correcting, and whatnot. I have quite the problem with touchscreens. So, and that's again coming from somebody who's been using touchscreens for much longer period of time than most people, having it on since the basically early 90s and whatnot. but that technology is still. I mean, it's not like I've grown my fingers to be different than they were 5 or 10 years ago. That's not what happened. So, yeah, it's just annoying to write email, to answer to any kind of message and whatnot. They keep on popping up and whatnot. I don't know if it's a matter of controls. Maybe have a little bit more finely grained control over what's being displayed on your phone and what the phone starts, vibrating for and what. I could probably do a little bit more of configuration, but it heavily influences, just like you mentioned, the concentration, the well-being. It's more of a doom scrolling. It's I don't know. It's becoming too annoying to kind of like just let it be. Something needs to be done. That's at least for me, and I'm trying to figure out a new way how to do that. Maybe something like this, Astro Slide 5G. Maybe something simpler, like what the Blackberries used to be, or something like that. I don't know.
I think that the simplicity could be the solution, because also what the BlackBerry had was that interface. The interface was subtly different. Okay, the thing that Jobs said, you need to have the intuitive interface, your finger, which is completely fine. But I think this is the same thing as it is with the controls in your car. We have gone overboard with trying to do touchscreens in the cars, and right now I see that almost everybody is trying to switch back into having physical buttons.
Because people are screaming at the car manufacturers to go back to it because it's more convenient. 5 sub-menus to start air conditioning is not acceptable.
Also having a parking brake as integrated into a touchscreen just begs for a problem.
Yes.
As a side note, my neighbor, I'm not going to name the car or the brand of the car, but I just a couple of days ago I saw him having his car towed. Car is something like 3 weeks old, 4 weeks old.
Okay.
And they need to tow it from his backyard, front yard. And I asked, okay, what is the problem? And then, without skipping a bit, I said, oh, could it be the parking brake? And he just looked at me and he said, how do you know? And I said, oh, it's a normal thing. Since the parking brakes became something that you control using your screens, they just keep failing.
Yeah, what's next? Opening the doors with the key, with the touch screen.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, and having only one or not a single key hole, so you can actually manually open
your car.
Your car.
Yeah, awesome.
I think that there is a Tesla issue where you can, if your battery goes flat, you cannot do anything other than basically braking your car and then enabling your car battery to work.
Don't know.
Because you cannot open it normally.
Not interested in electric cars at all.
Now what I'm actually thinking about is ordering this click keyboard.
Okay, you have to do it for trolling reasons.
Yes, let me whip up my iPhone poll and see what's up.
Meditate on this, you will.
Yes, but it's so expensive.
Yeah, well, because of the fact that you keep on buying everything on cheap sites, everything is expensive to you.
No, but getting something that inconvenient for 160 euros actually is expensive.
I agree. Do you know how many cheap things you can buy for 160 euros?
Probably 160. But the thing is that I'm more into buying things that I can actually convince myself that I'm going to use them.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're doing. Very good description of the algorithm.
Yes, and I'm not convinced that I'm going to use this more than once just to prove a point.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, okay, so we need to actually change the idea of the episode, the start for the episode, from downgrading for better experience to side grading, and why can't we have the experience that we have before, because it was actually superior to what we have right now.
I'm fine with that. I'm going to make sure that I name it correctly.
Because the thing is, so side grading the experience. But the thing is that actually Blackberries were successful for a reason. They actually worked.
Yep.
And I think that the reason why BlackBerry failed, okay, because the stupidity of the management, but because of the reason why BlackBerry failed and why nobody filled in the void that they created, because the void was huge.
Mm-hmm.
They had something like 60% of the market, 70% of the market.
They were just like
Sa-
Nokia, yeah, back in the day.
yes, so the void wasn't filled probably because of the patents.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping, and this is against all hope, but I'm hoping that somebody is going to take over the patents for the BlackBerry keyboard right now and try to create a phone that is going to have a keyboard.
Would be cool. Yeah, that would be something that would be of interest to us. Okay.
And probably the worst thing is going to be that there is going to come from a site that you probably don't like, and it's called AliExpress or something like this.
I have no issue with any of those sites. I just don't buy from them. That's it.
Okay, I'm fine with this, but it usually what happens is that I can see an immensely useful idea on a site that is realized as a completely unusable, crappy product, and then people say, okay, this is a crappy product, we don't need this.
Okay.
So I would like to see a actual device that actually works.
Okay. Well, that's that for this
Okay.
episode, I think. If you want to add
Okay.
something, add. If not, this has been another episode of That IT Show podcast. So, yeah, he's been Yasmin, I've been Vedran, and we'll see each other
And
next
let me
week.
go on a different tangent.
Oh, Lord. Here we go.
So just by saying thank you for being with us, and see you in the next
Yeah.
episode.
Bye.
See you, bye.